Hi, welcome to Mr. Queso Stationery and Tutors' first YouTube video on our channel, which is based on how blood flows to the heart, within the heart, and out of the heart. But before we actually go there, let's understand where is the heart located and some of its adaptations for its function. Right? So looking at the model here, I don't have the breastbone, right? The heart is located behind the breastbone, actually behind the sternum, right? And we have the sternum here. This is where the sternum is, and that is where the heart is located. And you actually see it there, right? And one of the adaptations of the heart is that it has a tough membrane, right? Because looking at the close proximity of the heart with the other organs, it could rub and could tear while it is contracting and relaxing. But it has a tough membrane called the pericardial membrane, right? And that membrane is so tough that look at the proximity there. When it flexes, it is safe among the other organs. And the heart is located inside of that tough membrane, and there's a fluid being secreted onto the heart, right, which lubricates the heart while it contracts and relaxes, while it is beating, right? So some scientists would say that the size of your heart is the size of your fist. So let's just take in consideration my right hand, which is the pericardium membrane, and this is the heart, and it is being lubricated by the pericardial fluid while it beats. So this is what is happening inside there. Right, so your heart is contracting and relaxing, it is being lubricated, and you have that tough membrane protecting it. Right, so pericardium membrane, pericardial fluid that lubricates. Right, and next adaptation of the heart is that it has a blood vessel on its surface called the coronary artery. What's the function of that? That's to bring oxygen to the heart. Right. And what does that oxygen do? It provides the cardiac muscle for respiration and energy, so that the cardiac muscles can get energy to contract and relax. Now, you might hear some people undergo cardiac arrest. That is, when this coronary artery is blocked, no oxygen could reach the cardiac muscles, and then they cannot get any energy, and then they soon what? Slow down, and eventually they stop the cardiac muscles, and that is what we term as a cardiac arrest, right? So at this stage in the course and the lesson, we know that where's the heart located? The heart is located just behind the breastbone, sternum, that's where the heart is. It is covered with a tough membrane called the pericardial membrane, and it is lubricated with a fluid called the pericardial fluid. And on the surface of the heart, there is a blood vessel that brings oxygen to the cardiac muscles, that gives them energy through respiration to contract and relax. So we are going now into the structure of the heart. Let's go. Hi, so we're looking at the mammalian heart, and the diagram that you're looking at there is if we slice the mammalian heart longitudinal or vertically, and we take off half, we'll be seeing this diagram. The mammalian heart is divided into two sides, the right side and the left side, right? And each side is divided into two chambers. The upper chambers on either side are called the atrium, and the lower chambers on either side are called the ventricle. We're also seeing some valves here, but we will discuss that in the cardiac cycle in the preceding video, right? Before we actually look at how the blood flows within the heart, let us understand what is deoxygenated blood and what is oxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood is blood that is high in carbon dioxide, low in oxygen. And oxygenated blood is one that is high in oxygen and low in carbon dioxide. Now, which side does each blood flow? Well, on the right hand side, we have the deoxygenated blood coming in into the heart. And on the left hand side, we have oxygenated blood coming into the heart, right? So deoxygenated blood from the head, upper body, and lower body enters the vena cava. Seen it here, right? And that blood, that deoxygenated blood, flows into the right atrium, into the right ventricle, and then it is pumped up into the pulmonary artery. Now, where does this blood go from the pulmonary artery? It goes to the lungs, where it is oxygenated. And once the blood is oxygenated, it comes back to the heart via the pulmonary veins and enters the left atrium, left ventricle, and then it is pumped to the aorta, head, and to the upper body and the lower body. That's oxygenated blood. Seeing the three tubes here on the aorta? So one will be going to the head, one will be going to the upper body, one will be going to the lower body, right? And we also see in the septum here, which is a muscle that separates the blood, because remember, the oxygenated blood on either side of the heart. So the septum here separates that blood, right? So let's recap in terms of how the blood flows in the heart. Deoxygenated blood, that is blood that is high in carbon dioxide, that is coming from all your respiring muscle cells, and that enters the vena cava from the head, from the upper body, lower body, enters the right atrium, right ventricle, comes up into the pulmonary artery, and it goes to the lungs where it is oxygenated. It goes back from the lungs by the pulmonary vein into the left atrium, left ventricle, and then it goes through the aorta to the upper body, the head, and the lower body. Right? So we're going to look at a diagram that has the arrows of how the blood flows. Right? So this diagram here, we are seeing actually how the blood flows by the arrow diagrams, right? So we are seeing the deoxygenated blood from the head, upper body, and lower body entering the vena cava, flowing into the right atrium, right ventricle, and then it goes to the pulmonary artery, where it goes to the right and left lungs. It is oxygenated, and then that oxygenated blood comes back via the pulmonary vein to the heart, into the left atrium, left ventricle, and then it is pumped into the aorta, back to the head, upper body, and lower body. Right? So you're seeing it here. So this video was really to understand how the blood flows within the heart, to the heart, within the heart, and out of the heart, right? There's other mechanisms inside here that allows for this flow, and we will classify it as a double circulation, because you see in here, it comes in, out of the heart, and then back into the heart. So those are other concepts within the transport system in man on the Csec syllabus, right? But all we wanted to do with this video is understand how the blood flows within the heart. And let's recap. It comes from the head, upper body, and lower body, deoxygenated via the vena cava, flows into the right atrium, right ventricle, up the pulmonary artery, where it is oxygenated, comes back to the heart via the pulmonary veins, into the left atrium, left ventricle, and then it goes up the aorta, back to the head, upper body, and lower body. Right? So I hope that we learned that and we understood that, right? And let's just look at the other concepts in the syllabus. Right, so what we're looking at here is the transport system in man, Csec syllabus, and the objectives for Csec student is to understand a factor determining if an organism requires a transport system. As the first thing that you will do in transport system in man, then you will understand what is a transport system in man. It's called the circulatory system. And within our little chat in the beginning of this video, you will get a little insight of where the heart is located, some of the adaptations, how the cardiac muscle contracts and relax. And we looked at the structure of the heart briefly with its left side, right side, and the chambers. And today's lesson, we learned how blood flows within the heart. So the outstanding topics in the transport system to be proficient in this concept is the cardiac cycle, blood vessels, looking at the structure and function of the arteries, veins, capillaries, blood, the components and function of it, plasma, the red blood cells, the white blood cells, platelets, and understanding the blood groups and then diseases of the heart, right? So if you want a video on these, or if you want a better insight and explanations and notes, you could always call this number and join a live class in the Csec Biology and Hsb classes, right? God bless. Take care.